Welcome back. Welcome back to another live discussion of Real Talk.
Yo,
Co-host,
you hear this guy over here? Yo, he's struggling, y'all. Yo, if you ain't in the view over here, get in the view over here.
co-host.
Do you hear this? Coast.
How you been,
Dude,
man?
drugged.
How you been?
Fantastic. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good.
I guess we're gonna have to really quickly mention, okay, Knicks did it. So what?
I think that
The Knicks did it. So what?
I think that if your criticism was very loud, then your
We ain't here.
apology should be
We
louder.
ain't worried about you.
I think that if you were a person who, said the wrong thing, but you were adamant, you were passionate, you were loud about it, I think we should get that same type of
Same energy?
Yeah. I don't think that we should.
Same energy?
Yeah. I'm so mad. I will not be for the next 2 weeks. I won't be with Real Talk. But the thing about the Knicks winning a championship,
Man, we ain't here. We got a little bit of time tonight. Get rid of that nonsense.
the
We
thing
ain't
about
talking about that. We here talking about Jesus
the thing about the Knicks winning the
and then
championship
burning the whole city down to the ground.
is we got all summer. We got all summer. If you think for a second a New York Knicks fan is going to be done after 1 week, after having 53 years of a drought, you have another thing coming. We're going to mention it every single time you see us, every single time we're around. Let the hearts go. Yeah, they're absolutely correct. Because if I recall, you told me we was going to lose to Atlanta. You told me we was going to lose to Philly. You told me that we was going to lose to Cleveland.
First of all, I can't.
Then you told me we was gonna lose to the Spurs.
Okay, everybody, calm down with all that hearts and
Go,
smiles.
let's
Chill out with all
go, Knicks.
Knicks are trash.
Did you even watch any game?
I did, but listen.
Which
I
game
will
did you
say
watch?
this, the last one.
Oh man,
Oh,
you
I
should
watched
have
that
you
one.
should have watched the 29-point comeback.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Listen, I will say this: they have a Merrill, I think, either a Merrill or a Sign. Who was on the Knicks championship team in '73?
I was born in '89.
Then you ain't a Knicks fan. But anyways,
I wasn't born.
They have
But you got Clyde Frazier.
I think that is Clyde Frazier. They have it where one Merrill is him holding the basketball, throwing it to
Brunson.
Brenson. I thought that was dope. That's pretty
Yeah,
dope.
Clyde Frazier.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I like that. That was nice.
All right, I will be more excited in a couple weeks to talk, but for now,
This dude.
we will pivot.
Pivoting to what?
I don't know. You left the platform just as an open platform. It's when I used to be this youth leader at this youth group, we would call it hot topics, and they would just open the floor up, and there would be 8 or 9 questions like the youth but you'd have to come sit down in the seat and you have to ask your question and sit there and we would go over it. But anyways, I feel like since we labeled this and titled this kind of unscripted, that this will be our little hot topic type of moment tonight.
So we're taking questions.
Not so much. I mean, if anybody in the chat wants to provide a question, that's fine. But more so just things that we may have seen in the last month or so or recently that may have caught our attention or eye, and we want to address it. And then from there,
you never respond to my text either about what the video you sent me regarding that certain rapper. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I was.
Let's talk about.
When did I send you that?
Yesterday.
Yeah, I started to take some pills and stuff, so that's why I was.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what these rappers be talking about. These not secular artists or rappers, but Christian rappers.
Well, okay, so that's good because that's gonna segue into some other things. So that'll be good. So I saw
I respect the fact that he used a brother that was trying to t- the okay. First of all, y'all, we're talking about Lecrae. Okay, we're going to talk about Lecrae, not bashing. We're just going to talk about the platform he has, and he reacted to a question that a caller presented, and the caller, which I thought Lecrae was kind enough to show the dialogue the caller was having with him, is that he respects an artist's skill and respects the artist's artistry in the particular field they're in, that being, hip hop, music,
Mm-hmm.
being a lyricist, as they would say. He respects and really, really appreciates the value of what Lecrae brings to the industry with that kind of, his lyricism, his writing, his poetry, his sounds, and everything that he brings. Where the brother struggles is how not only just Lecrae, but a lot of the gospel in the gospel realm as well, the gospel artists are starting to pair up with a lot of secular artists to make albums, making songs or making albums together or doing cameos and whatever and so on and so forth. And the main argument that these artists make specifically, and Lecrae is, I believe, the first one who actually tried to or utilizes the line of reasoning to try to counter the attacks that he gets. And his counter is, I'm not a Christian artist. I'm an artist that happens to be a Christian. Okay? So that's the main thing that he utilizes to try to convince people that what he's doing is not sanctioned by God, or that he's gone off the deep end and he's not following the Lord anymore, and this, that, and the other. So he utilizes that, and then he utilizes, which kind of bothered me, what he really said in yesterday in the video he sent me, was that he said, "You all see me with Ti or with Pop Smoke." Was it Pop Smoke? No,
No,
Murder Mook.
no, not Murder Mook. It was
Yeah, it wasn't it?
no, it was some other rapper that he mentioned,
Whatever.
but it
As
wasn't those.
most people would understand Ti to be a rapper who, you know, basically promotes everything that is ungodly. He raps about things that, even though it's integrated with realities of the hood or the realities of his life and the realities of what he's experienced or the realities of a young black man in America, although they may intertwine that narrative, the solutions are not biblical. And the responses of struggle in America are not biblical, the solutions that he brings up, or any rapper. So even though they keep it quote unquote 100 or keep it real, we're not discrediting somebody's testimony of what they've been through in life. What we're discrediting is the solution to the root of the problem. And the solution to the root of the problem isn't making more money or get rich or die trying. That's not a solution. Meaning, it may be your solution, but that's not the solution that ultimately is going to bring the most impactful results that an individual should be looking for. Nor is that the solution of God. So if I'm going to partner with somebody who doesn't bring out the godly solution, does not resonate with the godly solution, pays me respect by saying, "Hey, I respect what you do. I respect that you're a godly man. I respect your quote unquote Christianity or what you believe in. I respect that, but I don't subscribe to that, and I'm not going to perform with my lyrics to entertain that I even subscribe to that." So when Lecrae said, "You all look at me as being with one of them," this is how I look at it. I look at it as, I've been with him for 10 years and I know his story.
Yeah,
That's your justification, though.
no, he said that he's had deep conversations
Yep.
with them,
Yep.
so you don't know,
I agree.
things that have been going on externally, and then he also brought into consideration that if he had a job, which he considers being an artist a job. He said if he had a job with somebody who wasn't saved, he would still have to interact with them. He would still have to perform his job. He wouldn't tell them like, no, I'm not working with you because you're a sinner. So if he was a plumber, if he was an accountant, if he was whatever, if his worker or somebody wanted to partner with him, he was saying that he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't see himself doing that in that type of field. So why here would he um do the same thing? And I think that rubbed you the wrong way.
No, because everything that people say, no matter who they are, what they're saying, everything has it's attached or associated with something specific that you're trying to believe in. And this is what he's trying to believe in. He's trying to believe that it's okay for him to popularize himself on a platform, right? Popularize himself on a platform while being quote unquote a Christian, and standing up on this platform as a Christian, but associating with the ideologies that completely go against Christianity. That's where I have a problem. I'm not saying that you can't hang out with somebody. I'm not saying that you can't sit down and have dinner with somebody. But when you're on a platform popularizing yourself and you call yourself a Christian missionary, well, yes, missionaries went into foreign worlds that we're used to, foreign countries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would go and they would settle in these communities, right?
Mm-hmm.
But while they settled in those communities, their priority was explaining how Jesus Christ is Lord, how Jesus Christ is the Savior of all the world, not benefiting from being in that culture first and enjoying and reaping the benefits of that while, oh yeah, by the way, we're teaching you about Jesus. That's not what missionary mindset is. If I'm going to be an ambassador, I go representing the principles of the country I represent. Therefore, wherever I am, yes, I will be there. Yes, I will interact. Yes, I will associate. But the primary factor or the primary reason for why I am there is to explain and represent the principles and the policies and our standards as a nation. And that's where I believe Lecrae is convoluting the water. I think he's convoluting the imagery of what it means to be, quote unquote, a Christian who happens to be an artist.
So let me ask you this. If he gets on this track with a person who he's been having conversations with,
Mhm.
for 10 years, and on the record, he's saying things that are truthful. He's saying things that are sound. He's saying things that are doctrinally right. What is the issue or pushback because he's on a track with someone who isn't? So long as
Mhm.
he's being the one that's going to provide truth and provide light, what is it that you think is still could be issue or concern with that?
Let me ask you something. I am going to answer a question with a question.
Okay.
All right. Do you know who Howard Stern is?
Yes.
You do, right?
Hmm.
What happens if I decide to write a book with Howard Stern and I just told him this is the subject matter we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about um, uh, sexuality. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain the biblical perspective of Christianity's view on sexuality. And I have him promoting his ideology about sexuality.
Okay.
Right? I'm allowing him to partner with me, and I'm not challenging him. That's the thing. I'm not challenging what he's saying. I'm just allowing him to be on the book with me, but I'm not challenging his ideology. Why is not Lecrae publicly in front of everybody challenging the ideology of what that artist believes in front of everybody? You're allowing him to be on your record with letting everybody watch you be on the record with him. Why not challenge what they're saying? Now, if I was writing a book with Howard Stern and I know what Howard Stern believes in regarding sexuality, and we have a debate about it and we write our books about it, going back and forth, publishing all of that narrative, that would be a great book. Why? Because people are going to hear his argument, my argument. They're going to see this going through back and forth, and they can draw their own conclusions from the evidence that exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not doing that on the artistry level of Lecrae or Tasha Cobbs or any of these people coming on the scene representing their worldview with an artist. The artist is not countering what this person's believing in. Even if he's talking to them behind closed doors, nobody gets to see the relevance of how truth is to be managed in society. Truth is to be managed by a Christian in society by demonstrating and opposing what goes against truth. but all because I'm on a track with a secular artist and we're just collabing together, making quote unquote great artistry and poetry and sounds and vibrations of music to give somebody a good ear listening to it, they still hear the association of a Christian and a non-Christian collabing together. They don't hear the association of the Christian managing the truth against somebody who does not believe in the truth, and here's their counter, and them going back and forth. So a stronger argument can be presented to the world between two individuals, one that believes and one that doesn't believe.
So let me ask you this: from everything that you stated,
Mm-hmm.
if I get on a track with someone who talk about downgrading women, calling them out of their names, you know, talked about having multiple women and all things like that. And when I get on the track, I actually address those things, but I don't call out the person by the specific name. But if I get on the track and I'm just talking about, you know, fidelity and I'm going, you know, and I'm addressing those things, right? But I don't ever publicly shame the person who did it. But on the track, I'm going against things that have already been on this person's albums or multiple albums. Is there is that still something that is of light? Is that something that's still?
How are you making a rebuke? How is a person feeling corrected if all you're doing is giving information? How are they feeling corrected? You need to make it relevant. Like, that's what I'm saying. You're allowing a platform to be used where it seems like there's a collaboration going together, right? And that quote unquote any Christian artist like Lecrae, any artist who is a Christian collaborating with a non-believer, and yet they're on the track. He's promoting something good. The other person is promoting quote unquote something good, but does not acknowledge the fact that what they are saying is condemning souls. Like, Lecrae should not be out there collabing with people pushing things that are condemning souls.
And by collaborating, you're just saying they ask him to be on a track.
Yes.
He should not do it.
He should not, because he should understand, and anybody should understand, I'm not going to collab with you doing something that I know is condemning souls. Even though you're giving me a broader platform to speak my truth, I'm only giving you information. I am not compelling you to change your ways. I'm not compelling you and rebuking that standard.
I have some pushback, but real quick, can you read those comments?
I can't. Oh, jeepers creepers!
Because I can't really.
Dude, come on now.
What's it say?
Reimer says, "Go Knicks!" And hello, guys. What's up, Doc? Man, we ain't talking about the Knicks. Get out of here.
I told him, man. I told him. And what he doesn't understand, Elder, is this is going all summer.
As soon as the NFL kicks off, everybody's going to forget about the Knicks. As soon as the NFL begins, everybody's going to forget about the Knicks.
And that's about when the summer's over.
No, August is preseason.
Nobody care about no preseason. Yes, they got to be the real kickoff of the game.
There'll be so much information about the NFL that everybody's going to be like, man, the Knicks.
Hey, man, that's still 2 months. So until then, you be quiet. You walk with your head down.
I will not walk with my
head down. When I talk about the New York Knicks,
I will talk about the Knicks anytime, whenever I want to.
Yeah, and you're going to call them champions.
I will not.
That's what you refer to us as.
I will not.
Champions.
Knicks, boo-hoo.
That's what you refer to us as.
I ain't worried about them.
Anyways, I want to give pushback to your statement of you're just providing information.
Yep.
Because
let you talk.
Because that was your statement.
No. But I think you're taking out of context. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you cook.
I let you.
I said cook. Stop talking.
I let you build. I think you want to rephrase your statement because, if you are known, right? Let's say, what's my boy Uncle Luke? if Uncle Luke put me on the track and wanted me to rap, right? And I get on the track and I rap, and once again, I bring up my example. I don't call out Uncle Luke by name, but I address the things that Uncle Luke talks about in his songs. I am still, one, people now get to hear about me that never heard of me before. Mm-hmm. And two, they get to hear like what I'm saying and does it resonate or not. Information even within a rebuke, there's still information.
Even without a rebuke, you mean there's still information?
I'm saying within it.
Within the rebuke, yes, there is information. Yes.
In order to strongly correct something, there's been so even when a person is going to provide their substance on the track versus somebody else's substance on the track, that information can resonate and lead to somewhere. I think your bigger piece is what is overpowering what?
You're not saying no. You're just saying yes. You're not pointing to the finger.
I'm saying this is wrong. I'm saying I'm not fornicating with it, and this is
that's
wrong.
What I'm saying. You're saying this. You're saying as long as I'm saying I don't fornicate, then I'm good. No, what I'm saying is you should not be fornicating. You should not be promoting the idea of fornication. You should not be publicizing the idea of romancing a chick and then going to another chick's house and going to another chick's house afterwards, and you being a man, and that's what represents your being the man that you say you are. Lecrae is not literally on the track telling them this is wrong. All he's saying is this is what I do. This is the joy that I have. What is that? There's no compelling.
So what if he says these guys be out here doing da 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 da, but I'm doing this and living right and da da.
He will not be on their track. He will not be on their track. He will not be on their track. He will benefit. I guarantee you, it's probably even written in the contract that you have to do a certain thing to maintain the order of how they want it to be narrated, so that way there isn't that kind of contention in the song. I guarantee it. It's probably in there. But again, you're not compelling. I'm not disagreeing with you that in the rebuke there is information, or in the statement there is information. There is no compelling. Just because there's a Bible existing doesn't mean that it's compelling. God does not just give you words. He gives you passion and energy. He emphasizes, he gives you power. Why? So that it becomes compelling for an individual to realize what they're doing is wrong. And Lecrae or any other artist is not doing that. I'm not saying you get in people's face and be belligerent and tell them. What I am saying is be definitive of what is acceptable and then point out what is unacceptable before the eyes of God. That's all I'm saying. And they don't do that. Watch the line of application. Pay attention to the way in which things are offered in the song. Like, come on now. And it continues to narrate and support the narration of many of the censor-seecative, many of the, self-help kind of mentality that exists in the church today. Like the whole self-help and the whole better me and me wanting this and me getting that. And God has got so many great things for me up ahead and this, that, and the other. Without compelling people, first, there are roots before fruits. Remember that. Roots before fruits. And the only way you're going to develop roots is through repentance and a conversion of the soul, where the mind is renewed and understanding what is acceptable to God and what is not acceptable to God, and your obedience to that. That's the only way. Like, you can't. Oh, I almost said something. Jesus.
Pastor, I think you just come off as condemning. And when you come off as condemning, the world is not going to process that. I think what we're seeing with these artists is they're able to be more relatable to where people hear this. They don't feel as, like there's no hope for them. They feel as though, okay, God still rocks with me. I got to work on these things. But whereas if it would come from, you or somebody else, 80s and 90s on back,
or even Jesus' day, Jesus did the same thing. What you're saying that I'm accused of, Jesus did the same thing.
The adulterous woman, he told her.
Exactly. Why'd you go there, Jack? Because you understand he was, yes, welcoming her, which I don't mind Lecrae welcoming these artists. But the end of the song that Jesus sang with the adulterous woman is what? Go and sin no more. Go and sin no more. There's none of that compelling in the music that he's making with these artists. It's just a bunch of, yes, I understand you and I respect you and I'm still, God loves you, this, that, and the other. And I don't do these things and I don't go that way. And I remember how I used to do those things. You shouldn't be doing it either. And you should be following the Lord, not pointing at him like that, but in the song, make a compelling argument of the need for somebody to change. That's what I'm saying. Go and sin no more. Like, have the conversation. Be welcoming to the woman who came to Jesus and washed his feet with her hair and kissed his feet and washed and broke the alabaster box of ointment. Her too, he said, your sins are forgiven. That means your sins are forgiven, and understand you were a sinner, and here you are moving forward now, no longer wanting to practice that lifestyle. I'm forgiving you, and move on and go no further in that lifestyle. It's the same thing. Jesus did the same thing, but we wrap this Jesus mentality today in society as if Jesus isn't going to rebuke you. He loves you, as if Jesus's love will never correct you. You have children. You love your children so much, you will correct them. You love your children so much, you will tell them, stop, don't do that again. Your children know you love them. They don't like to be told to stop. Why? Because their mind is so heavily influenced with what they want to do, right?
Correct.
Therefore, when they hear the discipline coming from the parent, they don't like it, but they also know my father loves me. I can't do that. My father loves me. Yeah, I do want to do that, but I know I shouldn't do that. My father's going to correct me. Your children never look at it like you hate them. Now, as parents, sometimes we war with that feeling of, is my child going to be mad at me because I got to correct? We war with that because we're human. But ultimately, we understand you have to tell them the difference. You have to compel them to do what's right by demanding them to stop doing what's wrong. And that's all I'm saying. Listen, him making a lot of money is not my concern. I could care. I wish everybody made millions of dollars. Really, I do. I wish a lot of people made $1 million and know how to store it properly. I'm not worried about him making millions of dollars. I'm worried about the false narrative that's being generated because of his popularity and what he's giving a lot of these youth the idea that this is the way it should be done in the church. Ignore tradition and go the way I'm going.
So let's take it further back. Did you have an issue with Kurt Franklin bringing salt and pepper?
Oh my God, dude, I couldn't. I don't like Kurt Franklin.
Okay, what do you mean you don't like him?
I don't like Kurt Franklin's style. I don't like his mentality. I don't like the way he operates. I believe that somewhere in the past, the hurt that he's experienced has never ever been dealt with, and he's trying to prove himself to the Christian church that he's that man. And I'm not going to say he doesn't have the ability of composing people together and make some great music. I'm not taking that away from him.
Yeah.
It's how he operates. It's like anything. It's like any business. The product could be great, but the system to make the product could be horrible. The management, the people inside doing what they're doing to produce this product could be horrible, but the product in and of itself can be great. I'm not against the choirs that he's brought together and they've made phenomenal music. I don't believe at all that he's genuine in what he's trying to do. He's masked it. He's utilized Christian hurt to continue to do what he does and profits off of it. He's found ways to profit off it. And then when he is caught in the dark doing things that we know are shady, now he wants to, start arguing about, don't judge me, this, that, and the other. Like, dude, come on now. Stop it.
So you believe him putting salt and pepper on the stomp track at the time where, because he says it, either those of you who think that gospel music has gone too far and we gotten too radical. I mean, this was way back then.
It's in the 90s.
You think? I mean, he was known at that time. I mean, obviously, probably salt and pepper, maybe known more. But you think at that time that was a wrong partnership to have, and that it he watered down his standard by doing that. Absolutely. By bringing them.
Everybody waters it down more and more. It keeps getting watered down more and more. Everybody thinks the little bit that they compromise, the little bit that they compromise, they're not looking at that futuristically. They don't realize that the next group of people are going to keep moving it a little bit more. Why? Because people have gotten comfortable with the new standard. Then another group comes up, moves it a little bit more. Why? Because everybody's gotten comfortable with the older standard that was just an inch. But now you go back 50 years and you look back at how far we've gone, the gap is so bad. But people have been so convinced that this is the standard. They didn't know what they were doing back then. Do I believe that something back then, there's some wrong stuff going on back then? Yes, absolutely. Dude, this has been going on. This has been going on forever. This has been going on since Jimmy Baker, Jimmy Swaggart. This has been going on before them with what's his name? Tulsa. You know who I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Oral Roberts. With Oral Roberts. Just the shenanigans that has been played in the church. People have to just start paying attention to that and collaborating. I believe it was Oral Roberts who started doing more of the secular sounds in the worship. They started getting a lot of pushback because the traditions back then were very strong, right?
There's a secular sound.
Okay, what I'm using is secular to the perceptions of Christians.
Okay.
You can use any sound.
Mm-hmm.
Sound is neutral, right? We all agree there.
Mm-hmm.
Sound is neutral. You can't make a spiritual you can't say sound is carnal or spiritual. What you can say is how it's composed. It can come out anointed. God can anoint a composer and create melodies that would sound beautiful and divine.
Correct.
Okay, but you can't just say one is spiritual and one is carnal or secular.
Gotcha.
It's the lyrics that define something that's spiritual or secular. It's the lyrics. You want to know what's so funny? A preacher told me today that Satan was kicked out of heaven, dropped right inside the choir. That's where he went. The moment he got kicked out of heaven, he went right to the choir. I just had to keep my mouth shut because it was the first time I met him, so I didn't want to blaze him, but I wanted to blaze him. Anyways,
look at you showing some restraint. Proud of you.
Whatever. So it's in the lyrics, but it's also in, I want to say, it's how people are presenting something. It's how it's being presented. What is the motive behind what's going on? If I'm going to use a secular, or if I'm going to use a sound that's been familiarized as being secular, let's just say, Don't Stop Believing. Don't Stop Believing. You ever hear that song? That's by Journey, okay?
Mm-hmm.
A Christian artist or a rapper who is Christian made a song out of that tone, that tune, right?
Well, Christian already said that.
And I forget his name. He devoted all of the lyrics to sound biblical, meaning what's
just finish your point, man. I can read this.
Read Galatians 5:9. You got to read Galatians 5:9. Galatians 5:9.
Finish your point.
He made a song with the scriptures from a sound that's familiar to the secular world, right? But he was able to put lyrics behind it that were biblical and turned it into an encouraging song about remembering how to keep believing in Jesus Christ. Don't stop believing. You know what I'm saying? The same words that were used, he converted them into making it sound like, don't stop believing in Christ. Don't stop believing in the hope that God's given you. Don't stop believing in the faith that Christ is able to keep you and strengthen you and build you up. So they used the melody, the music, and then took the chorus from that song and converted a whole song of Christianity to it. And I thought that was great. That's something that can be done. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Did you go to Galatians?
Yeah, man. A little leaven.
Oh, very good. Yes. Elder, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Amen.
So
I like that verse.
My thought process is, why can't the opposite be happening, right? So we're looking at it.
Say that again.
Why is it that we're not looking at it from the perspective of the opposite happening?
How's that? What do you mean?
So we're talking about how things are getting convoluted, the message is being diluted, or stuff is getting cut, stepped on, whatever you want to call it, and it's just keep getting stepped on more and more and more. my thought process is, because the mentality is you're letting this person on the track, you're letting this person be on your platform or vice versa, and you are not pushing back on them, or you're not doing those things. So what's going to happen is, what they're doing is going to kind of overshadow or overpower more than what your stance is. I'm saying, well, why isn't the thought process looking at it from the other perspective, that some of these Ti fans, some of these Salt and Pepper fans are now saying, "Who's Kurt Franklin? Oh, let me look at this album and see." Why are we not looking in the perspective that they're also being now quote unquote infiltrated by their fans now being a part of this platform? Why is it that when we see these things, we're just instantly looking at like, man, this stuff is getting watered down, and all we're doing is allowing this person to make some money, get a song out, get the track out, and then that's it. The message of truth isn't going forward. None of those things are going forward, and it is what it is.
And your question is, why are we not questioning, or why are we not looking at the evidence that there are people coming from the worldly side actually investing in looking for more of this music and looking for or Trey's track or Kurt Franklin's tracks or whatever, or Tasha Cobb's tracks? Are you saying, why are we not looking at that?
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you
in the sense of, especially nowadays, where that's what people do. They'll see your name. Like, we're in a very information age where they want to see your Twitter. They want to see what else you got. They're going on YouTube the moment they see your name. They want to see your social media the moment they see your name. So I guess from a calculated perspective, right? Why are we not, bigging up the idea that, hey, you know what? This person is being calculated. They understand that by doing this, it's going to allow people to come see them do this. And hey, I can respect that component and that aspect of it. That them being on this platform that now gets over 500,000 viewers,
a million viewers,
a million viewers, where the platform that they're in now, they're getting 1,000. Nothing's wrong with 1,000. They still get to keep that 1,000.
The exposure is greater with 1 million versus 1,000.
If I can get that exposure, I can at least get some to come back over.
Can I answer your question?
Sure.
So my thing is this: I don't care if you were attracting, let's just say 1,000 out of that million. What are they being attracted to? Because the narrative that they were influenced by is a false narrative. If their perception of just hearing something good and not being compelled to repent, I have a problem with that. If I'm representing, as we're saying, he's representing quote unquote information, right? He's representing information, right? I want to make sure that the compelling idea is that information I'm telling you is recognizing that what they're saying is dead wrong. I want to convey to you the true message that Christ is Lord and that my life was converted by his presence. He is the living presence. If that platform isn't being used to help create the actual narrative or the truth behind the message of Christ, but it's kind of like simplistic in the sense of I'm talking about good things and somebody investigates me because they're hearing good things, we have to understand, number one, people are going to be drawn to Lecrae or these other artists because they are talented and they're skilled well. Okay. So when somebody interested is going to, drawn to that, and that's the first time they ever heard them, they might go out and check it out. Are they being compelled by the message? And I think that's where a lot of Christian artists who to use hip hop as their platform are really trying to draw the line. We're not here to mingle with, sensationalism. We're not here to mingle with trying to mince our words. We're not here to try to also be so dogmatic that we don't understand your struggle is very real. And we know that you need to have somebody that can be a listener to those challenges, but we're not going to mingle and we're not going to convolute our stance. We're going to represent Christ properly to compel you to understand where the true healing is going to occur.
And so what about them from hearing it, they're like, "Hey, you're talented. Hey, you're,"
Mhm.
and then from there, them hearing, "Oh, this is different." Now that they go and hear you, because remember, they only heard one part. They're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, your bars is
yeah,
crazy."
yeah.
Now they go and check out the discog. I can't say it right
The
now, but
what?
it's supposed to be like a discography, basically the list of your tracks.
Okay.
And now they go through that, and from going through that, they're starting to hear some things that I'm just saying that
I get it.
the bait sometimes, while the song may have not been so indoctrinated with things, what they may be attracted to, which I may agree, they're not going to be attracted to truth when they come and hear you, but that doesn't mean that they can't get caught and looped on it as they're still loving and enjoying how talented you are. They then have to begin to repeat the lyrics, because when people hear lyrics, they eventually want to repeat them and hear them saying it. There's a small percentage of chance that they can keep repeating these things and start to question, like, wait, what is that? It's a thought process. You don't seem to be buying that.
No, I'm not. Because the thing that we have to also deal with is the reality of truth that exists. Like we know what we're compelled to do. We're trying to find ways to navigate through a prosperity world. We're trying to work our way through a society that's willing to give up money for talent, but not for truth. And because we want to exercise, I believe, I know without a shadow of a doubt that Lecrae loves hip hop. He loves the artistry. He loves that. He
Mm-hmm.
loves the industry in the sense of, the music and the skillfulness behind it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not taking that away, but you can get so caught up in that you forget what our true calling should be. It would be like me trying to start a church, or having a church, and using gadgets and tricks to try to compel people to come into the church, and not make them compelled to the truth. Like, I want you to be drawn to the truth of God's word, because that's what's going to heal your heart. That's what's going to actually affect your mind, to understand the choices you have made are because you've been in darkness, but coming to the light. Now your mind can see the truth and have confidence and assurance of knowing the God that truly loves you, that he had never abandoned you. You being out there in the dark had nothing to do with God abandoning you. You understand your choices were made because of the ignorance that was in your heart, and you chose to do these things because you felt more desirable to do those things, but it left you empty. That's what it did to me. And so I understood, coming to God, I understood I chose those things, not because God abandoned me. It's because I abandoned God. And I wanted to do those things. That's not conveyed in these simple little songs of, he's been so good to me. He wants to do so good to you. He wants to bless you. I understand you're hurting and but just come to Jesus. I'm sorry. Those words in and of themselves are correct, but to compel, they have to be put in a compelling message that draws people to understand you were in darkness by choice. It wasn't because God abandoned you. And we need to give people that understanding. But people don't want to hear that. People don't want to be held accountable for their misdoings. They don't want to be accountable for the choices that they made. They want to blame somebody else for where they are, even though somebody may have done something bad to them. They still want to blame that person instead of saying, no, because I was in darkness, I thought dealing with it this way, through the bottle, through sex, through drugs, through hatred, through fighting, through violence, I would find some satisfaction of my rage that comes from the pain that I'm feeling. And I come to realize in the light, I did all that because I was in darkness, not because God abandoned me. God never abandoned man. We don't hear that in the compelling messages of our music today. We don't hear that. And that's all I'm saying is, and when you put your music and you associate it with somebody who is in darkness, you're compelling people to still think this way. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not against anybody making money. That's the last thing. I'm not jealous about how filthy rich he is. I could care less about that. Money doesn't bring happiness. It can do a lot of good things, but ultimately it can't bring sustaining happiness. I'm not upset about that. What I'm upset about is how the truth is not being demonstrated and conveyed in a manner that helps people to feel compelled to come to Jesus truthfully, and for them to recognize and admit, I was in darkness because I chose to live there. Even in the Gospel of John. He says, "Men love darkness. Why? Rather than light, because their deeds are evil."
Last
Hold on,
thing.
Rhymer says I'm exactly past it. Thank you, Doc. Thank you.
Last thing. So, what about somebody, a singer, getting on a track, who's a Christian artist, gospel artist, getting on a track of a person who's secular, but the song is about either their mom or somebody who passed away, and they're talking about um, you know uh, seeing them in heaven, and then you have somebody like uh, who gets on who's a gospel artist, and they get to sing about that. What is your stance on that? Where it's not like what they're singing about is wrong, right? It's not.
You are hysterical.
What do you mean?
Go ahead.
It's not like.
Are you saying as a gospel artist, right? I'm trying to understand your question.
Yes, because we've been working through about your bigger issue of everything is that what are people being drawn to when they're walking away from this entire track, this entire information? What are they being compelled to? You as the believer, what is the consumer being left with?
Right.
And you're saying that they're not being left with
a compelling argument of realizing. And again, I'm not saying beat them down with the gospel and preach hell out of them. So there are days when some people need that. The Bible says, compel some with love, compel some with fire. So I'm with you. I'm saying that's okay. But what you're asking is, when the consumer's done listening to the song, right? What are they left with? Are they left with, oh, I want to see my mommy in heaven too. Oh, all of us women have a story to tell. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I didn't say it like that. I was trying to see if there's.
I'm asking you, is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, what if the takeaway is like, oh yeah, I want to go, like, I want to see God too. Like you just said, I want to see my mommy in heaven. But what if it's like, oh yeah, I do know, like, I can see God and then see my family again or whatever.
Well, it depends on it all depends on how you're saying how they'll be able to see God. Like if you're just saying you'll see God just after you die, you're representing a false gospel. But if you're mentioning that the joy of being reunited and being reunited with your mother who may have gone on, and number one, let's make sure that she's in heaven. I'm just saying.
You're gonna put all of that on the track?
No. That's a biblical truth. I love how people in obituaries say someone who died at 70. All their obituary starts off by saying they accepted Christ at a young age, at 8. And now for the eulogy after 8 years old, all the way to their death at 70 something, has nothing to do with Christ. It has everything to do with everything that they chose to do for themselves in their life. It has nothing to do with Christ. Are you kidding me right now? And you're putting them in heaven?
That's just the person who wrote the obituary. They're not good. They should have.
I love how what's his name? The black dude that's skinny? He be talking reckless.
They're good.
I know, but he's on a lot of social media. He's from the South. Skinny dude, talks real rough.
Is he a comedian, a rapper? I don't know.
No, he's I would say he's a comedian. Oh, I wish I knew his name. But anyways, he was talking about how y'all talking about this gangster out here killing people. Y'all know he a killer. Now he is dead, and y'all got him in heaven? He dead. He in hell. He is now with Jesus. Now this dude is like, he's like, I don't care what y'all say. This dude is a killer. He was a killer on the streets, and now he's dead, and the eulogy is, we're going to see him in heaven again. No, you ain't, because he ain't in heaven. He's in hell. This man out here killing everybody, and you got him in heaven? Nobody wants to talk like that anymore. Nobody talks like that anymore.
I think that we.
No, I'm sorry.
I think that we can get to the conclusion of that.
Jack.
I just think that the 90s,
the
80s way,
no,
and further.
What they didn't do is they didn't do follow-up in helping a brother or a sister come out of their sin. They confronted people to compel them to understanding you were in darkness and you chose that. Now that you're in the light, you will understand that God was always there for you. Now let me help you overcome these things. Let me pray with you. Let me help you. Let me do whatever I can to help you. That's where a lot of them have missed it.
Yeah. The issue was follow up. You're not getting no follow up with that type of method and approach. You'll get more follow up
Actually, you got more people saved back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s than what you're getting today. You're getting a bunch of
on
pews. You're getting a lot
on paper.
You're getting a lot of people that are comfortable in these pews singing a bunch of songs that half of them aren't even biblical, and a preacher that's giving you spiritual motivation rather than truth of the gospel.
And typically, when you see one end of the extreme to the other, it's because there was an extreme being done. Say what you want to say. While you may say, yes, we were putting the line down, we were doing those things, you were pushing people away. That you were getting seen like how the Pharisees was looking at those other people.
You're painting that narrative because of the experiences you had and the experiences I had. What I'm saying is,
I'm just telling you that
you have to compel, Jack.
If you listen to some of these artists talk, whether they are telling the truth or not, they'll state, I remember when I first got saved and all I did was go after people.
I understand
and now I'm trying to show them a little grace and space.
Showing grace means that you don't make the compelling argument of the importance of turning to the Lord, of rejecting things that are not of God, compelling them to reject the things that have been disobedience. And you're saying lessen that message, lessen that compelling. No, give the compelling, but I'm going to be right beside you. I'm not going to be speaking at you and then taking off. I'm going to be reminding you of these things.
I think to your point that if you are used to seeing something or you're used to hearing people saying certain things that they dislike about something or someone, and if all you have in your shed is a hammer, you'll treat everything like a nail. I think that you gotta let me finish. If your mentality is only to state, I have to confront, and tell you about truth, that is your mentality and your mindset with every single person. There is no thinking of follow up. There is no thinking of follow up.
Let me ask you something.
If it was true, you would have seen it happening.
Wait. We're not talking about our experiences growing up. I'm talking about who we should be, who have learned, as you said, who have learned that wasn't a good approach. Does that stop me from compelling people? No. What it compels me to do is it's going to remind me I have to continue to draw the line, but I'm not going to be the way it was back in the day. Like, I've got to work hard and trying to get this conversation about Jesus Christ. That's how I was back then. Yeah, I'm comfortable.
I agree with that.
So that's what I'm saying.
I think your drawing the line is still on their side of being like.
Well, you can't change that, Jack. People are going to feel uncomfortable with that conversation.
That's not my problem of feeling uncomfortable. I'm telling you that society is going to reject something or accept something no matter what. My thought process is more looking at new school is how can you build somebody up by paying attention to where they are? I just feel like older school, they didn't care where you were. It was just, I'm drawing the line.
Wait a minute. Are you hearing me say that when I literally said that I'm going to be understanding where somebody is? Meaning, in the conversation, I'm no longer working at trying to get the conversation to be about Jesus. I'm going to let that happen organically. Why? Because I'm comfortable dealing with somebody who's still in their mess, still doing what they're doing. I'm comfortable accepting them where they are without hammering them with the truth. Like, see, I told you, you got to keep coming to truth. You got to do it. No, I'm going to be there. What I'm saying is when you hear me speak, I'm not going to be convoluting with the message. I'm going to compel you with realities. I'm going to speak to you. I'm not going to be coming at you dogmatically, but I am going to come at you with truth. Truth is going to make people feel uncomfortable. And I can't stop that person from the psychological reflexes because they're uncomfortable with what I'm saying to change that point. I can't change that point. You are going to feel uncomfortable with truth. However, they have something real that they're going to have to remember. And they're going to have to remember is I didn't attack them, not like somebody else used to back in the day, a parent, a grandparent. I didn't attack you. You invited me into the conversation when you asked the question. I didn't come after you, but I'm comfortable engaging people. and I'm ready to talk to people and explain the truth to them. So that way, when they ask me about Christ or when they ask me about religion, I'm going to speak in a compelling fashion to remind them how you chose to be in the dark. That's not God's option for you. God wants you in the light. That's going to make somebody feel uncomfortable, dude. You can't stop that.
I never said that.
But you're making it sound like because they're uncomfortable, they're as they call it, the psychological reflex, because of the experiences in the past. I'm going to remind them of something. No, the message is reminding them. But what they're going to remember, I didn't attack them. They came to me and asked me a question because I've been there loving them. I've been there accepting them.
If the methods are different,
yes.
But if the method is still echoing the same things that they're stating,
I agree. But did you see my contrast? That they invited me. They invited me.
Even if they invite you.
Jack, no.
Even if they invite you.
Jack, let me ask you something.
Because some people
how many times you go to your grandparent or your mother and ask them, like, you really like you want to know something biblical and you invited them, or was it like, Jack, you shouldn't be doing that, or you need to go to church? I never asked my mother, maybe once or twice. It was always, you better stop doing that. You need to stop doing that. You understand what I'm saying? So yes. You always try to find a way to navigate avoiding your parents, avoiding the church folk, avoiding the church mothers, so they didn't catch you. Why? Because you knew the moment they saw you, they're going to smack you down. I'm saying that I'm going to be there in that space where they are. I'm going to be in that space. Now, when you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to compel you about what the truth is. Rich young ruler and crowd in John 6 left because they didn't like what Jesus answered, but he didn't change it to get them back.
Yes. That's not my argument. Y'all are missing my argument.
No, I hit your argument right on the head. I did address it.
I'm saying
I addressed it.
I'm going to say this last point and then we'll wrap up.
I like that, Doc. That was good.
He
didn't change it to get him back.
This is why we have disconnects between, they'll say millennials, they'll say Gen X, Gen Z, whatever the case may be. And the reason is because of how do we approach something? How do we, because no matter what, a message is still going to be woven in a conversation. And so if we were had an upbringing that stated, this is what I know to come straight across and say boom, 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 boom. And then you start to see in 5-10 years, people aren't doing this type of thing. You're going to say, see, we got to get back to doing these type of things because of boom, 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 boom. What I'm saying is that person is automatically going to see a new method coming in and saying, oh no, this ain't right. See, we getting back to a watered down and we're doing all this, when the mindset should be, you may think on that one track right then and there, boom, say everything that needs to be said. What's wrong with waiting until the 5th track to do it? Why is waiting to the 5th track worse than, like, that's where we have the disconnect. Y'all like, nah, you ain't doing it right then and there. It's over. That's my only point. My only point is that
he's Don Reimer saying the same thing I am, but
I'm never saying that the message.
But the thing is, Jack, is that you're still playing on some very
well. Let me say this last point.
Say your last point.
When I'm saying about uncomfortable, it's never the message. You always have to convey information. I am saying the approach in how you engage people is because there's a difference.
I've addressed that though.
But I think that how you're concluding it is you're making it seem like, well, no matter what, they're gonna be uncomfortable with the message. I get that. That is always going to offend.
But what happens if you?
But my point is if you're not able to understand how to engage people, Jesus didn't engage everybody the same way.
What are you hearing I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. You keep saying
I'm after some of you people who are older are not paying attention to the fact that hey man, why on the third? Why does it have to be? I don't hear this on the 1st or 2nd track. Why are you automatically then just gonna assume, packing them up. Like I'm not waiting to the third. I'm not waiting for the fourth or fifth one, because if you
okay.
already show me 1 through 3,
You just spread. Okay, first of all, we're talking about the secular artist, and you took that, and we got off into a larger market. Okay, in the sense of addressing sinners. What I'm saying, to draw back to the conclusion of Lecrae, okay, and secular artists pairing with gospel artists. What I'm saying is, your point is you making it sound like what they're doing is wise integrating with a platform to broaden their market for them to be able to have somebody go to their website where they kick truth, right?
I'm not saying that they are wise. I'm saying, because I don't know them, but I'm saying it could be.
It could be. What I'm saying is, okay, what I'm saying is you're still not, you're convoluting, not the message, you're convoluting the presentation of these carnal Christians, or not even carnal Christians, these secular people, these people who are in darkness, who really don't understand the message of Christ. They really don't understand Christianity other than what you're presenting. And if all they understand Christianity by what you're presenting, they're not going to recognize what's actually happening. Lecrae may understand what's happening, that he's benefiting off of that platform. He's benefiting off of being able to do things so that he can still have his connections. Jack, no, the idea behind what they're doing, I'm not saying we shouldn't change our methods, but they're not just changing their methods, dude. They're actually presenting a Christianity that a lot of people are getting mixed messages regarding what Christianity proper actually looks like. That's my concern. That's what I want people to recognize. Methods, 100%, change them. Okay? We don't have to have tent revivals anymore. People didn't have TVs. People were more, they associate a lot more. People don't even associate anymore in churches other than on Sunday. Outside of that, they're not getting together. They associate a lot more in the 50s and 60s. They love to gather underneath the tent. There's no TVs. There's little entertainment, a lack of things to draw their attention. So having a big tent, music and so on, but a preacher came on and so on. That method has changed. We don't have to do that anymore. There's other ways of meeting people. What I'm getting at is the people that he's speaking to have a misunderstanding of what Christianity proper actually is because of the way they're presenting it. That's all I'm saying. And I would rather chance compelling people with the facts than just trying to play patty cake with them and hopefully down the road they'll come around. Because what is truth is what's written. What they're doing is they're creating a whole nother market. They're just trying to create a whole nother, a platform for them to benefit off of. But anyways, I digress.
Yes, I will not. We'll be here all day. Anything on the?
Oh dang! It's 9:05, bro.
Yeah, we got to go. Anything on Facebook? Nothing. All right.
My wife's cousin, Keon. What up? Appreciate you.
We read this.
In,
did we read this comment already about to Reimer? About yes, we try to meet them where they are.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But you still have a choice to make.
Yes. Agreed. Okay. So that was us going unscripted, addressing, self-proclaimed Christians who are who engage with some secular artists, and do we feel like it's convoluting things? Do we feel like one side is overpowering the other? Do we feel like the takeaway is what we deem it to be? But either way,
hold on, what's Reimer saying? Something else?
He said great discussion, guys. Either way, but hey, if you like what you were hearing, make sure you click the like button, share this video. Go over to the Righteous Unity YouTube channel, UNITEE, and subscribe to the channel. And maybe you have a specific question, verse you want to address, talk about, and go over. One of these Tuesday nights, 7:45 p.m., we'll address these specific issue or verse that you may have. But until then, we'll see you next week. How about a show on what is the gospel? Most don't really know. Yes, that'll be dope. I like that.
And what is the gospel?
Yes. On what is the gospel?
Good. I think that'd be
and then what it is not.
And you always have to present the contrast. In order for truth to be what it is, you have to put it against what error is. So that way people leave with a better understanding of what this is supposed to be and this is not what it's supposed to be.
Touche, elder. That's why you're my favorite elder. I like that. All right. We will see you next week. God bless.
God bless.